Here's another late installment of Monday Movie Pickup. For some reason, I had never seen The Sound of Music before. I actually watched it last night, and it is a spectacular film. I was playing a game of trying to see how many of the songs I actually knew before ever seeing the film, and there were actually 3 in the movie that I had never heard of before, but all the rest I had heard of, and that's pretty surprising. It is a popular musical, though, and the movie was really good, and wasn't a big fan of the ending, actually, or the fact that the Nazi stuff didn't show up until the very last 30 minutes. This is the 5-disc edition, in that it comes with a CD soundtrack, DVD copy of the film, Blu-ray, special features, and then it came with a brand new documentary. That's why I waited to get the 50th anniversary edition, because that 60-minute documentary is only on the 50th anniversary. Tron. I had this movie on VHS for a number of years. I tried watching it one time, and I was very disturbed by the quality of the VHS picture, so I just stopped watching it. And but I've been meaning to get this Blu-ray, and I will finally give it a watch. Probably get Tron Legacy eventually too. Apparently they're doing a Tron TV show, or I don't think a third movie's happening, but a TV show. Batman, Mask of the Phantasm. I had the DVD. I really liked this movie. Really great. One of the best theatrical Batman films. And yeah, definitely gonna be happy to give this a watch in Blu-ray quality. This was released by Warner Archive years after people have been begging for some of the Batman animated stuff from the 90s to be on Blu-ray. This did really well, to the point where they released Sub-Zero on Blu-ray, and now they're going to release the entire series on Blu-ray this year, apparently. I haven't heard anything else about it, but I think they're still doing it. Shallow Hal, kind of obscure comedy from the early 2000s. I remember watching this in theaters, because that's what me and my parents did. We just went to see really dumb comedies in theaters all the time. I have seen so many comedies from the 2000s. They had a movie this year called I Feel Pretty, which was a movie about Amy Schumer suddenly seeing herself as beautiful, even though no one else can see her being beautiful except for her, but the audience doesn't even see her as, I guess, as beautiful as she said. It's supposed to have a big moral to it, but this movie I always thought did that concept a lot funnier, because Jack Black doesn't see her as someone who's overweight. He just sees her as a beautiful girl because he's getting karma back at him. But everybody else sees her for what she is, and, a lot of silly antics happen. I don't know how this movie's aged. Maybe it's bad, maybe it's offensive, but Paths of Glory, this is one of the Stanley Kubrick films. It's on Criterion Collection. Criterion Collection has a 50% off sale at Barnes & Noble right now. That's not a promotion. That's just every July and November. That's where I go. I go to Barnes & Noble, get them for half off, because that means they're like $20 a piece. That might sound expensive, but Criterion Collection is already that expensive to begin with, even for used copies, that it's better to just wait until Barnes & Noble has them half off, which normally they have them for $40, which is overpriced anyway, but during their half off sale, they're basically the prices they should be. This is Paths of Glory. This is a really good war film from Stanley Kubrick. I'm not a big war film guy, honestly, but when Stanley Kubrick does it with this and Full Metal Jacket, I like them a lot. And they're both very different films, and both of them I like. This is a Stanley Kubrick film I haven't seen, actually, though. This is The Killing. I have no idea what this is about, except that it's apparently a heist film, so I'm all up for a heist film done by Stanley Kubrick. These were before he did, Lolita and 2001 and The Shining, and when he got really out there with his films. These are a little more, I would almost say, watchable for the general public. Apparently there's also I think there's another movie on here. Yeah, Killer's Kiss. This is another film of his that's on here. So with that, I almost have every single Stanley Kubrick film, because I have his collection. The only other one is, because I got Spartacus as well on the past episode, and then he has Fear and Desire, which is a Kino release. So I will get that eventually, and I'll have all the Stanley Kubrick films. This is the Die Hard collection. Now, I do own the Die Hard collection from, I think it was 2015, something like that, or 2013. It was, I guess that one would have been the 20th anniversary, actually. So maybe it was actually, well, no, it's not 25th anniversary, so maybe it was 2013. I don't know. Whatever edition it was, I had it, but it didn't come with A Good Day to Die Hard. And it also did not come with the unrated version of Live Free or Die Hard. Live Free or Die Hard, the unrated version, all it really does is throw in the R word, or the R word, I'm confusing R-rated. No, it comes with the F word, because the F word's heavily used in all the Die Hard films, and that's usually what makes it, you know, an R rating. I mean, they're violent, but honestly, it'd probably get away with a PG-13, as this one did, but since it says the F-bomb so much, you know, it has to be a rated R, and that was just how it was done. That's how, even when in 2013, when they did another one, that's how it was done. Live Free or Die Hard, though, the studios for some reason was like, nah, you gotta, don't say that, because otherwise people won't see it, because it'll be rated R, you know, which movies like Deadpool have proved wrong. So basically, the Blu-ray, while the DVD release had an unrated cut, the Blu-ray release never did, even in that 20th anniversary edition or 25th anniversary edition. But this edition finally had it. Now I'll explain this, because this collection had all 5 movies, the one that wasn't part of the old collection, and it has this movie, which I even listed very, you know, out there, saying that it is the unrated cut, because this was never on Blu-ray and not in the collection for some reason. This is the first time you can get Live Free or Die Hard unrated on Blu-ray, which is weird. It used to be only on DVD. Now this right here is Decoding Die Hard. This is a documentary on the first 4 films, and that was on the 25th anniversary edition. It did not come in this collection, so what I did is I just took it out of my old edition, threw it in here, and now this is everything. This is everything you would ever want Die Hard. And hopefully, that will be it. I mean, I hear there's a 6th film, apparently a prequel coming out, Poltergeist 3. So I have Poltergeist 2 and 3 on a DVD double pack with no special features. These are, of course, Scream Factory does a really good job releasing films on Blu-ray. Even the crappiest of them get really good special features. This is by far the worst Poltergeist. This is a pretty bad movie. Second one's actually, as far as a follow-up to the first Poltergeist, I think is actually an okay movie. And I don't have that on Blu-ray because, well, this one was, they're pretty pricey. They're like $20 each online or more. Scream Factory's usually about as pricey as Criterion can get. And so I just waited for this to go a little lower in price, and it did. Poltergeist 2 really hasn't yet, so I'm just going to hope to find it used eventually. But yeah, trying to finish the Poltergeist series. Night of the Living Dead is the Criterion collection. I'm glad that they released this, because Night of the Living Dead is a film that deserves a really good release with really good special features, which this has. And yeah, Criterion collection. I had the DVD of this, which is probably the best DVD you could get. It was like the George Romero approved version, but now this is the best way to get it. And then last but not least, Richard Linklater's Before trilogy. I hadn't seen any of these films before, but I popped in the first 2 because, weirdly enough, the first one is 101 minutes and the next one's only 80 minutes. So I just popped them in. And yeah, they're really just well done love films, romance films, I guess. Really well done. It's a version of Richard Linklater that I'm not a fan of, because he makes these characters in his movies that just basically spout out a bunch of philosophical crap, which he does in Boyhood, he does in what's that one called, Waking Life, and he does it in this series a lot. I can handle these movies though because they're shot really well. The first one, Before Sunrise, is really well done, and you know, they are good characters. Just a lot of philosophical stuff that's like, people really don't talk this way. Because, you know, my favorite Richard Linklater film is School of Rock, which is kind of the opposite of a Richard Linklater film. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to, maybe eventually I'll do a video on Richard Linklater, but he's a really interesting director. Anyway, that was Monday Movie Pickup, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching the video. A special thanks to Ryan for supporting me on Patreon. If you'd like to join him and get early access to certain videos and have your name stamped on the end of videos and even request reviews monthly, then please click on the Patreon link, and thanks for the support.